Hello to anybody who happens to find this video. I'm going to show you a method of stacking plantations, particularly the large ones in this case, because there are more than enough videos showing you how to stack the small ones. But not only that, but to stack them in a way that they are, out of the way, and it makes it so you don't have them, stacked up in the middle of your base, eating up a lot of real estate, and then your pals getting stuck inside of them. Now I'm going to come out first and foremost and say none of these are my original ideas. This is nothing that I myself came up with. This was something that I kind of worked on from various other people's kind of tutorials and the way that they did things. I saw a great video on how to, kind of the idea of stacking the plantations under glass. But in that video, that was really only demonstrated with the small plot. It was, had a nice little comfy little cubby hole in using like the corner pieces and whatnot. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work for the large plantations because they're a little finicky. These little bastards are stuck down there. But I'll go ahead and get started instead of wasting more of your time. So one of the things that I want to point out is that I'm actually got this stacked on the second floor of my base. Unfortunately, I don't have any real aesthetic gift when it comes to base design, so I just kind of prefer to do one giant behemoth of a. You guys are going to continue to do this until I finish this damn base. So I just kind of have one kind of like mega structure where I've covered basically every single square inch that I was able to work with. And because I have on my particular base a couple of quartz nodes on the bottom that I didn't want to obstruct, I decided to do all of my things on the second floor. So what I ended up doing was I went one down for this particular structure. It doesn't really matter. You can work with whatever you want, but essentially this is only one foundation deep. And I have enough room to be able to do 6 of the large planters, and then if you wanted to, 2 sets of the small ones, but I really only have 2 berry plantations because they're not as valuable. One thing you'll notice if you're paying attention as you kind of look around, these are only 4 deep, because if you go any deeper, then they start to have problems with actually interacting with them if they're not physically down there. So once I've got this done, I'd actually had this finished and decided to go ahead and redo my last plot so I could show this in a video for anybody looking. So once this is done, I'll have this room sealed off and none of these people will be down there and they'll be able to run around and do the base. So you can freehand this, but I imagine it would be a lot more painful. This is a method that does not involve using the Japanese pillow. Instead, this is going to be using the wooden benches. This was a trick that was shown by another video. I wish I could give the person credit, but unfortunately I don't have the time to go and try and hunt down which video it was that taught me how to do this. In this case, they basically just stack it. I'm on controller, so I'm holding R2 to snap it to the wall. But if you do that, then it becomes hard because it centers up the plot in between the walls, rather on the walls, and then you kind of have an awkward spacing. So one of the things that I did, so I used that specifically for this because this was only one, essentially one foundation's width, whereas these are about, 1.5 roughly. So what I do instead is I take one of the pillars, which this is a great trick if you are trying to keep anything kind of stacked up or locked up in an even way where you don't have to try and freehand it. And I will stack 2 pillars in between the foundations, and I will use this as my guide point. So In order for this trick to work, you're going to use the wooden bench, which you get pretty early on in your tech tree. Where is it? It is the tidy table set. So at level 12, you can buy this set for one of your tech points, and then that will have the table that can be used for stacking your your resource nodes. Like I got my trees there. I use that using tables. This one's floating right here because I haven't gotten another one, but you can use that for stacking the ore nodes. But I digress. You're not here for that. You're here for how to stack your large plots. So in order for this to work, you will have one going flat because we're going to make essentially a long T shape, and you will do it two deep with one against the wall. This will be what allows the bench to be placed. And what you're going to do is you're going to place 5 layers of this in order to be able to get it to the right height that we need it to be, so that all of the plantations are accessible from above by your pals. When you get to the 4th one, I find it easiest to aim at the pillar above it and then stack that there again with the same snapping point. You may have to kind of finagle around it to get them all placed, but it is entirely doable. And just like that, we've got our 5 benches all set up in a T form. And what you will do then is you will go above, or if you're not placing this in a sealed room like I am, you'll go ahead and just aim up. I'm going to go to food because the last thing I need is lettuce, I believe. Yeah, tomatoes and potatoes, or tomatoes and potatoes, depending on your preference. Same thing. You're going to use for the first 2. For the first 2 that you put down, you're going to snap them to the pillar above. So I'm holding R2, it's anchored on. Even though it doesn't really matter, I'm going to go ahead and rotate it so it faces out. And then while they're doing that, you're going to go ahead and disassemble the first layer of your T-bench. Then you will go back above again to place one more. You'll snap it to that. So the first 2 plantations, you're going to use the second pillar above to be able to snap it onto the bench. At this point, I can go ahead and you may not, if you're starting a brand new game, you probably won't have access to the glass foundations. But if you want to have it all nice and pretty, that's something that you can look to later on. I believe you could probably still do this with a regular foundation over it, though I would recommend having a little door to get back down there. But right now, we've got all of these are completely sealed in. I've got my first 2 benches placed, and what we're going to do is we're just, so not benches, our first 2 foundations placed. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and go back down here. Let me make sure there's nobody that's still stuck away in here that I have to evict. No one is in here, which is fantastic. And what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and, just like with the other one, we are going to go ahead and get rid of those benches. Then this one is where the aiming becomes a little bit more finicky. You have to, let me see, where am I on? Oh, I'm on the glass roof, that's right, I'm not on the right plantation. Aiming becomes a little bit goofy, so you want to make sure that, see, like I can tell that one's sticking out a little. There we go. Right. Trying to aim the tiniest bit on a controller. Nope, see, this is what you want to check for. If you have a bit of OCD about how there we go. Whether or not they're lined up, it really doesn't matter, but for some people it does. For me, if I can do it right, I'd rather do it right. So we're going to go ahead and remove the next layer of benches, and you want to be careful because this is the same command that also will disassemble. So you don't want that to happen after you've deleted the benches, because then you'll have to try and build it back up again. But now we've got our 4 benches, and it's up to you. You can remove the other benches underneath because they don't need to be there. Wooden bench, wooden bench, wooden bench, wooden bench, as well as the pillar. Not the pillar men, but the pillar. I go up above and I get rid of this last pillar, and like that, all of my plantations, including the large ones, are all completely tucked away in this little alcove that I've created. The pals are working on all of them. Let me see if I can show you one that shows you that the lowest one is being worked on. It's a little bit difficult because of them, how they're stacked. Let's see here. Who's working on one? Let's see here. Well, I mean, you can see right now that it was growing, but there was pals that were down in there, so that's not as good, for all you know. Oh, wait, growth. Okay. Harvest again. These were all done. Here we go. This one down here still needs to be watered, so I'll bring out my Relaxosaurus, and you can see that he is water. Oh, nope, he ran away. Why did you run away? Oh, he decided he wanted to transport. No, do this. Not gathering. Oh, can he not get to that one? Oh, nope, he's watering again. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see through the second from the bottom. The gauge is filling up orange, and it should be visible here in a moment from beyond that. And there we go. No, no one told you to go do anything else. I gave you a task. I will. Okay, he's decided that he doesn't want to cooperate with me anymore, and what are you trying to do? No, don't. Here, I'll pick this up. You go away. Go do the thing. I don't want you to focus on transport. I need to show that this is actually going to water all the way. There we go. You can see that it is fully accessible from below, rather from above. So hopefully this video was helpful to you in a way to try and manage your farm in a little bit more of an efficient way, and having at least a little bit of functionality by having it tucked away. Have a blessed day. Thank you for your time. And if this video was helpful, go ahead and leave a like. It doesn't do anything for me, but it lets me know that it at least helps somebody out.